I will have the largest collection of Darwin Nunez kits in the state of Washington.
You heard it here first.
I would argue maybe even like West Coast, maybe even
Maybe the
United States.
Everyone, welcome back to the Liverpool Girlies podcast, a place where we welcome anyone who loves to obsess over Liverpool FC and wants to talk about everything from qualifying for the Champions League quarterfinals to this truly never-ending emotional roller coaster of a season. We're almost there, y'all. My name is Molly Ann, and I'm here with Annika and Stephanie. We are three friends who share a love of Liverpool and dream of one day having a cup of coffee at the AXA Training Center coffee bar. Welcome back, y'all. We are here. We've done it. Another week in the books.
We are here, period.
I guess first I'll just start with like a pulse check, a vibe check. How are we doing this Sunday morning? Post Galatasaray win and Brighton defeat.
I refuse to let Saturday defeat my Wednesday joy.
That's how
That
I
is what I'm
too,
choosing.
honestly.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that. I feel, using the roller coaster metaphor that we love, I do feel like I just got off of a spinny ride, and maybe went through the queue twice. So I'm a little bit disoriented, I feel, but I agree that when I think back on the week, thinking of what we did on Wednesday, I'm really proud and very excited about heading to the quarterfinal.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think obviously last week I was like, that felt like my breaking point, and I was like, I just don't understand anymore. Galatasaray match was so good, and I feel like I just want to hold on to that. And yeah, I'm just like, this is not going to steal my joy. I love this team. I love this club. I want to see them do well. I believe that in the long run, this will be turned around. And that's where I want to focus now. I've aired my realistic thoughts last week, and I'm ready to move on. And still be realistic, but I want hope and joy and positivity.
I mean, speaking of roller coasters, two of the three of us have been to Disneyland in the last 10 days. So if you could take a Disneyland or Disney World ride and to describe this last week, what would it be?
I'm I just don't know how it's anything other than Mission Breakout, because you're at the top and then you fall really fast to the bottom, but you go back up again, right? We know So I feel like that's and you get fun music along the way. It's a great story. It's a thrill.
My thought is the Other Coast Guardians ride, if you have motion sickness issues. So you really enjoy it and then you really don't later.
To a similar beat, my gut instinct was the Matterhorn coaster, because it's whimsical and it draws you in and you're like, wait, this will be so fun. And then you sit down in the car and you kind of realize your back can't take it anymore and you have a headache for the rest of the day. So, but there are fun elements to it. It is a roller coaster, but it kind of lures you in. That's how I feel a little bit.
I think it's the teacups, and Wednesday was the teacups when I was a kid, where so much fun, absolutely. And Saturday was the teacups as an adult, where I just get so much dizzier now. So
okay, or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and hear me out, because the plot of that ride is that they show up and they're gonna have a picnic in the park, but the train accidentally switches over to the wrong track and they end up on this adventure. But at the end, they do make it to the picnic and Mickey sings a song on the ukulele. So there is hope, but you do go on a little bit of a wild goose chase.
We're just waiting for Mickey to stroll in with the ukulele.
Yes,
any moment now.
I'm expecting the ukulele, okay?
We just need David from the Ragamuffins to just show up with a ukulele or a guitar or something at the end.
Correct. Correct. Actually, during the Brighton game, they were singing a lot of player songs, so.
I like how we're just avoiding talking about the rest of the...
No, I'm let's talk about Galatasaray for that.
Yeah, Galatasaray.
Let's go.
It's just talking about this week as a whole.
Yeah. No, but hope is not lost. I love this team. We have not a lot of time left in this season, but still a lot to play for and a lot to prove. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens. Like, now we've got this international break, and I looked at the rest of the schedule today, which I hadn't done, and obviously we'll talk about it later, but I was like, whoa, baby, do we come back and hit the ground running until the end of May?
I feel like we do better when we have something to prove like that. I feel like they
Yeah.
lock in a little bit different mentally.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
But that is kind of also, I think, sometimes where I struggle, where I'm like, sometimes you just have to be able to prove the consistency, and it can't always be the high, So I love that. And I hope we do show up that way with like that Galatasaray, like we have to prove this intensity. And I would just really love if when we're playing Brighton on a Saturday, we do really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is something that's hard seeing us be able to pull it together and like do what we did on Wednesday and then to watch us on Saturday and be like, this is the same team. Okay. Because it feels like there's some level of like, could we not play this great all the time? And I understand there are a lot of other elements involved, like tiredness and injury but even so, just the mentality, I don't know. It is.
Yeah. I would personally love to go back and track how many times on this podcast I've said, guys, this was the turning point. This was the game, because I can think of at least 5.
The first one was after Aston Villa. Like our first match against Aston Villa, because that game was incredible. And really, I thought we had kicked it in, but that was like right before our biggest.
They're
downturn.
all little notches, like climbing the right way. But
one, every singular moment that goes really well, like, is to be celebrated. Like our game against Galatasaray, like we should celebrate that. That was incredible. It was so fun to watch, and is a big deal for the team.
What makes me feel a little bit better is like the players are not happy. The management team is not happy. Like they're not just settling for this. They all know that they have work to do. They are not just like, okay, whatever. Everyone has the attitude that they're supposed to have about this. So I still believe in them. They don't owe me anything. They don't owe me anything to be amazing. I just am bummed out,
Well, and also, someone had commented this last week on our YouTube video about basically the fact that Arne is not solely responsible for the performance of the players. Thanks, Chris.
I loved this. Yeah, I loved this take.
Basically, together, those 3 people manage Liverpool and their performances and the players that they sign. And so Chris had mentioned that, but then I actually did see on, I think it was Sky Sports, someone also bringing up the sporting director for Liverpool and saying, not all this responsibility falls on Arne. Like it is, and Arne said in his post-match conference, like too, that it's his job to see the problem and come up with solutions for it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the widening perspective on elements.
Because it's different than the role that Klopp took, where he was the manager. Like he had the influence in like who we bought, who we sold. That I think Slat is considered, but it's just a different dynamic. He's the coach now. And I think that was intentional from FSG to bring him in as a coach and not bring somebody in as a manager. But it does mean, other people have to take accountability. I thought it was interesting in Slat's post-match from Brighton. He was talking about everyone's focused. We spent $450 million. We also sold, $300 million worth of players. Like it wasn't a true addition. It wasn't a one in, one out. You can look at our bench. Last season, we had 2 full starting lineups almost.
And we're honestly in the negative in terms of that now. Like we did not replace everyone.
Yeah. And so we don't have those replacements. And then, right now we've got an injury list that's like a mile long. So no, I thought that was I loved that Chris pointed out that observation for us. So thank you. Because
thank you, Chris.
I wouldn't
always
have thought about that.
Things.
And I love when the media can also like step in a little bit and say, it's not okay, but there are other factors. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a great point, Annika.
It was a great response to our crash out. So
Thanks for the support that everyone provided us as we crashed out last week. We are happy to be back.
Yeah.
well, so this is normally when we talk about off the pitch moments, but there really wasn't. We were fed a lot last week. It was so much, and this week not a lot happened. We didn't have an inside training. There wasn't a lot of social media, really anything.
I mean, I do think it speaks to how busy the schedule is
Mhm.
in this little stretch.
Mhm.
And, you know, I think that contributes to our performance
Oh,
at
yeah.
Brighton. I don't think that's the only factor, but
Mhm.
yeah, they're busy boys. They didn't have time to entertain us
Ugh.
in side gigs.
My favorite sitcom. Hello. I'm like, I don't care if we lose games. Just give me inside training.
Give me photos of them at the coffee bar. That's
It's
all
like-
that I want. Okay, so this week's trivia question. At Euro 2024, there was a Liverpool player who became the youngest person ever to captain a team in the history of the European Championship at 23 years, 7 months, and 21 days. Who was it?
So the most recent Euros.
Okay. And you said 23 years old. Connor Bradley?
Nope.
It's like I'm trying to think who's been a captain and like who stepped in somewhere to be captain. Like it had to be a backfill, right?
Oh, I think I might know. I think it was Ibu.
That's what I was thinking, but I thought he was older.
He might be too old.
But that was
make
my
your
thought.
guess.
That was my thought because he's the only person I remember at some point talking about being a captain. But
yeah,
I think
I feel like
Annika in unison. Do we want to go with Kanate?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I already guessed something, so technically, this is all you.
Dominic Soboslai.
Oh well, duh.
Oh, wait. For
Wait,
youngest to
23?
captain, period, or at the Euros?
At the Euros.
Oh.
Okay, so Dom was 23 in 2024.
23, 7 months, and 21 days.
Huh.
I thought y'all were going to get that immediately. I was like, oh, this is going to be too easy.
Well, you got us
Oh.
thinking, Steph.
There we go. Way to go,
Use your
Sobo.
brains. Way to go,
Champion once
Sobo.
again.
This week's Liverpool Girlies Trivia was brought to you by the irreplaceable serotonin gifted to us by each of the 4 goals scored in the Galatasaray match. That nothing can ever replace those. It's true.
Hold on to the memories. They will hold on to you. All right. Well, speaking of those 4 magical goals, it's time to talk about our Galatasaray game on Wednesday. We played leg 2 of the round of 16 at Anfield. What was your guys' viewing experience? I did not watch it with you, so I would love to hear how it was.
I watched it at home by myself.
Nice. Steph?
Usually I can work and watch the game at the same time, but my workday was already really stressful, and so I chose to not add more stress and anxiety to the match. So found out afterwards what the match was, and then I rewatched it by myself because I was out of town dog sitting. So it was a fantastic rewatch.
I love rewatching a match knowing the results.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yes. But my favorite from you, Annika, was you were like, yeah, I was in line for Space Mountain while I was watching the first part of this game. So you win.
Me watching Galatasaray was actually a crazy experience. I can take you through the places that I watched this game because I was at Disneyland on Wednesday, which was so fun. But I was there with my family, and so I was like, I may not watch the game. I'm not going to pause our day at Disney for this game. So I was like, I just kind of knew in the back of my head what time it was on. I was like, if I get a chance to put it on for a few minutes on my phone, I will. And when the game started at noon, I was in line for Big Thunder Mountain. So I was like, you know what? Perfect. I'll just put it on my phone. Because it was a Champions League game, I could get it on my phone, but only in Spanish. So that was already an interesting element. So I was watching, I had the game on mute. I think I saw through Sobo's goal. And then I was like, okay, well, I finished the line queue and I stopped and had some food, finished lunch. And I was like, I gotta move on with my day. But then I ended up in the Space Mountain queue, and I was like, well, I'm just standing here, so probably should check it again. So it was quite hectic, and I actually missed both Eki and Ryan's goals, even though they were on my phone, because at those moments I happened to be going through some part of the line or whatever, or talking to someone, and I looked down and I was like, oh, what happened? And I was like, and then, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I also missed this, but I think Fremy made them score an own goal that was then over, it was VAR with ruled offsides.
Yeah.
Okay. I was piecing it together. It was like an adventure of like, what is happening in this game? Can I figure out what's going on? But then after Space Mountain, made my way to the Grand Californian Hotel and was sitting in a lounger and could actually watch the conclusion of the game with my full attention on the game. So
Sounds like
it
an
was
incredible viewing experience.
It was great. And then by the end, I had Jamba Juice in hand watching the match. And when Mo scored, I did make my whole family, I said, Mo scored. Paused it, rewound it, made everyone come and watch it. So I did do that.
I mean, what a way to celebrate his 50th Champions League goal.
Truly. I was just so, and it was so beautiful. Oh, anyway, so I had a very exciting viewing experience. I don't know how much of that game I really retained, but I definitely felt the emotional current.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
Mhm,
it was the
is.
end of that game where I was like, oh, I wish we did a midweek episode to like capture the excitement of this moment.
Truly. It just, like, going into it, I felt so, it's a tough moment to go and being like, if we don't produce at least 2 goals and don't let them score, like, story's over. We're done. That's obviously that's the whole point of the Champions League, but it's stressful. And to see us rise to the challenge, to Sivako, if you will, was so exciting.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really interesting seeing their attitude going into this game, just because Galatasaray, both times we've played them, it's been so rough and in Turkey, and so just not in our normal element. And you could just see it behind the Liverpool players' eyes of how determined they were to show up well for this match. And Galatasaray did their Galatasaray things where there were a lot of injuries. They were trying to find a lot of excuses to slow down the game because really all they had to do was prevent us from scoring. But we persevered, we prevailed, we went through. And since I watched the replay of it on the All Red app, I got to hear like the Liverpool commentators, and they were incredible at the beginning of the match because I didn't watch the first Galatasaray game of this stretch. They were explaining towards the beginning of the match, they were like, yeah, there were a lot of times when it should have been a corner kick for Liverpool. It wound up being a goal kick for Galatasaray. There were a lot of injuries. They wasted a lot of time. They were just explaining a lot of that, but they were also still very fair. They were like, wow, that was a really great defending for them. It was just a really interesting experience hearing them commentate on it, and that's how I only ever would watch it now. But in the second half, when we were up like 2-0, they were like, okay, you can now recognize how Galatasaray is now matching the pace of Liverpool. Like they stopped flailing around. They stopped trying to waste time because they were like, okay, well, we actually have to show up and play because what we've been doing isn't showing up. And then they played decently.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just kind of refreshing to like get to watch the football that I really enjoy getting to watch,
I think watching that game, what I also loved was just the energy at Anfield. I think week after week, there's obviously been a lot of criticism, but outside of, some moments where there have been boos or whatever, like the supporters that are there really show up and make such a great environment. And I think that's also a really important like factor in them being able to perform so well. I mean, we saw the Galatasaray supporters make that such a hard place to play and the impact of our team. And then for Anfield to be able to turn around and do the same thing was really great.
Yeah.
And the fact that every single person in that stadium was a Liverpool supporter, like no Galatasaray at all. But of course, they still traveled to Liverpool and were creating a lot of chaos on the streets. So,
imagine traveling, but you're not actually going to the game. I'm like, this is commitment. Now, could I do that? Would I do that? Probably. But
but I didn't. So
would I do that for my Seahawks? Yeah, I would.
Would you shoot fireworks outside of hotels and
well,
Don't
No.
incriminate yourself, Annika.
No, I would not do that.
Yep.
I do want to say regarding the Champions League, I really like that both for the round of 16 and the quarterfinal that we have the second leg at home. That feels like, to me, the advantage where you kind of, you're in your home environment to know, okay, this is what we've got to do to make this happen. And if, like, for example, I think that if we had played Galatasaray the other order, I fear that that would not have worked out in our favor. Going into Galatasaray's and home stadium, knowing that you had to produce something would be tough. So I'm grateful for that. And I am excited for our next leg and so terrified, but it's so fun. I love Champions League.
It's revenge tour. We've made it
Uh-huh.
past Galatasaray. Now we get to make it past PSG. Like, the script writers want us to play Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Let's be real. Like,
You're right. Huh.
that is a revenge match. So that's what it is.
And we know I love a revenge tour. So
We were literally talking about that last night, Annika. Young was like, Annika loves the revenge tour. So it's PSG next. And then it could be Real Madrid, and then it could be Arsenal. So it's exactly like the Seahawks.
I like love it and it makes me squirm, but I think in like a good way.
If we make it to the final, then Sobo and Kerkez get to be at home.
I was watching a post-match interview with Kerkez, and he had like mentioned about it being back in Hungary, and his face just like lit up. You can tell they want it so
They want it
badly.
Bad.
Yeah.
I want it bad.
Yeah.
The Champions League this season has been like a very satisfying roller coaster to me. Where definitely there have been highs and lows, but it's been so fun to watch. And I always say it, but I really love watching Champions League games. They are really fun to me.
I'm going to be in Edinburgh for the Champions League final. So I'm just excited that I'm going to be in the UK to watch the Champions League final.
People will be caring. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. Those vibes are going to be great.
I can't wait. I believe.
I think we can do it.
Yes, I believe we can.
And Champions League play just suits us so much better this season against. I just am imagining a finals against Arsenal, which
No. I don't.
So we don't need to imagine that. There are so many teams who can defeat Arsenal before that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Premier League teams, let's talk about our Premier League game. We got to do it. Liverpool v Brighton. What was our viewing experience? It was 5:30 in the morning for us out here in the Pacific Northwest.
I was laying in a hotel bed.
Well, the game was delayed 15 minutes, and I was like,
It was.
really, guys? Because
Why?
I could have. There's traffic around the stadium.
Oh.
That's what they said on NBC. So
Yeah.
I was like, could have slept for 15 more minutes. Would have really appreciated that.
Yeah, I was texting Molly Ann. Well, I was texting both of you, and then after about 10 minutes, hadn't heard anything from Steph, so I switched to just texting Molly Ann.
Yeah, I saw the first few text messages and then nothing after the first like 20 minutes of the game. And then I was like, oh yeah, they probably realized I'm not up watching this. So yeah, spoiler, I did not watch the game. I stayed up really late the night before. Your girl is not a morning girl. Call me a bad fan. I was dog sitting out of town, so I chose to sleep. And I would watch the replay if I felt like it. And I didn't feel like it, so I did not watch the game. I've seen one clip of the game. It's always a fun experience finding out what the results of the game were by opening up my phone and seeing all the text messages. It was just a series of GIFs and emojis in our Liverpool chat. And I went, well, that's not good. And then it wasn't even the first thing that I saw when I opened social media. It was the score. Normally, that's what I see. It was not there. So a little bit later, I found out the score, and that was that. So, and then the one clip that I've seen is an edit that Molly Ann made for our TikTok of just Milos's goal, comparing it to Darwin Nunez.
Yeah,
of course,
which was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great moment. I had realized I used to like really get excited about the early morning games because I was like, oh, it's like, well, first off, it is done early in your day, so you have more time. Also, sometimes I think it's really cozy to be at home and like be in your PJs. Granted, I was out of town, but I've realized the last two, I think we've only had 2 matches this year that I've like, it's been too early for me to get up and watch officially. And I actually just end up sitting in my bed, like so stressed. I don't know what it has been about those matches, but now I'm associating early morning games with like stress and agony. So I'm done. I'm ready to like just take me. I might as well just go to the pub if I'm gonna be that awake and that anxious at 5:30 in the morning. That's how I feel.
That's fair.
So, since you guys did watch the game, what are your thoughts and feelings?
Yeah. It was just more like a, but how? I think was my, where I was just like,
That was one of the
We
texts that
just-
you said, how?
yeah, I was like, we just did so well. And I think if we lost, but had still been able to show up, like 80% of how we did versus Galatasaray, it could be like, okay, Brighton played really well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it just, to me, it felt like Tottenham 2.0, where it just kind of felt like that same style, same effort. Like, we have so many injured players. I know they just played a really intense game, but it just felt really like lacked communication, felt disjointed. I mean, I feel like anything I thought about Tottenham, like I could just kind of put in this place of this game too.
I mean, I think there were a couple like moments that stood out to me as like key like shifts. The first couple minutes, the game's just getting started. When Eki went down with his injury, like, I mean, of course, I was like, oh no. But then when he stood up, I was like, I think he just has cramps. Like, I literally think he's just cramping. He'll be fine. He just needs to walk it off. But then when he went down again, I just felt the pit in my, as the moment Eki was going off, Mo was already injured. I was like,
Yeah.
how possibly is this going to go any direction? Kerkez being able to score off of a Brighton mistake. I'm like, yes, that is what we need to be doing, is taking advantage of the mistakes that the other teams are making, because they take advantage of us in that way. A lot of the times when we end up losing matches, it's because someone has taken advantage of the fact that we made a silly mistake. So seeing us be on the scoring end of that was very satisfying, and I just really appreciate Kerkez.
Why was Kerkez so high?
He was talking about whoever caused that mistake, I think also plays for Hungary. I heard, and he was kind of saying he knew that player likes to give the ball back to the goalie in those moments. And so he kind of had, and maybe I'm thinking of it, maybe he was referring to a different moment. I thought that's what he was saying, was like, I kind of thought this could happen and he could capitalize on it.
Like, it was very strategic of Milos. And so that was awesome. And to level it, for me, I would have been like, okay, great. Because there was something in it once Eki was down, Mo being injured, and just the momentum of our players. I was like, I don't think we can score goals today. So I think all we can do is just hope that they don't score goals, or stop them from scoring goals. So when they got the second goal, I was like, I don't see how.
Coming back would have been hard.
It would have been very hard with how that was going.
Brighton was playing so well.
They were playing well. And Rio was on to something. There were a couple moments where like the guy who was defending Rio, like, it was hard for him. So there was a world where Rio could have scored, but it felt so slim.
And yeah, Milner was like, I was like, this man is everywhere. Anybody that's getting the ball, somehow he has appeared to shut them down.
And he's huge. I kept thinking, like, Milner, do you not remember, like, you used to be a Red? Like, like, maybe cut us a deal here.
Help us out. Don't take Hugo down. And like,
it
was not, it was just like a great duel. Like, it was not malicious at all. But they just showed up. And I think they knew, like, this team's going to be tired. They just had a big game, like, and they found a way to capitalize on that.
They did.
So what I thought was crazy was
strategic.
Yeah. Looking at Galatasaray, we had 62% possession, 16 shots on target, 10 shots off target. Yeah. Brighton, 47% possession. So just like, totally different.
Because I did feel like watching Galatasaray, what felt so great to me is I was like, oh, we have so many chances. We're creating, like, it felt inevitable. I mean, clearly we scored 4 goals. So, like, there were just so many great moments. And I think that is what has felt off on a lot of games, like what we saw with the Brighton game, where it's like, I'm just not seeing, like, we could get really lucky and score a goal, but that's about it because we're not building what we need to build.
In my mind, I'm at the Liverpool Galatasaray match, and I'm going to stay there as long as I want.
We briefly touched on the injury list, and I am feeling that, apprehensive about all the names that are here and just, I guess, the unknown factor of some of them.
What, we've got 8 players out?
Like 8.
9?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, so, like, it's a decent list when we already, we're lacking some of that bench strength. I was reading an interview Virgil did, and he's like, I showed up to practice before the Brighton match and was like, this is it? Like, we don't have more people. So, I think there are a lot of factors that contribute to the performance on Saturday. But the hard thing is, like, when injuries weren't a problem, we weren't necessarily playing much better all the time, But I forgot because I was looking at that clip of Darwin when he kind of did the same goal, like dink over the goalie that Milos did. And there was a baby Connor Bradley, because that was from Klopp's last season that like ran over to hug him. And I was like, oh, how much I miss Connor Bradley. And I really want him back.
Oh, I miss Connor so much.
So Frimmy's great. And for Frimmy, both matches, I just still am amazed by his speed and like where he's able to wiggle himself into and show up. But yeah, I miss Connor too. So
yeah. We have space in our heart for all of them to be healthy. Okay. At all times.
And so does our bench.
I'm not picking any of them over the other.
Nope.
But yeah.
I want to throw a party the day that we get to see Prince Leone play on our team again. Guys, what if we get to see him in New York City?
Oh, yeah.
There's a chance that
we totally could.
Because even if he's better, he's not going to be on the World Cup team. Well, Italy hasn't made it yet. They still have to qualify. Oh, that's so fun. All right. Well, speaking of Italy potentially qualifying for the World Cup, we'll leave Brighton behind us, live in an eternal Champions League qualifying state, and also look ahead to international break. So this international break, we have some teams that are still looking to qualify for the World Cup. For us, Italy has Chiesa that they called up.
They called him up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I am so proud of him.
Yeah. I'm so excited. So he'll be on hopefully they qualify, and hopefully that he is, impactful in that and makes the World Cup team. Yeah. So that's our only.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. All of our other players are going to be in friendlies. He's our only one that's kind of like something to play with. Northern Ireland is trying to qualify, but obviously Connor won't be there. So Cheese will be our only player that's on a team that's still looking for qualification. And then we've got the team that we collectively follow, the Netherlands, has some friendlies against Norway and Ecuador, which I thought was great. 2 great matchups. I was like, oh, I love that. And then my beloved team, Uruguay, has a friendly against England. They're playing at Wembley.
Speaking of Kwanzaa, he also got called up.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So that'll be such a great match because obviously Darwin will be there. Kwanzaa will be there.
Yes.
Like, I think just good. It's like a rare matchup to see those two.
Yeah. That's great.
And then Uruguay will be playing Algeria. So lots of great friendlies the next 2 weeks. Lots of great qualifying games. I think all the qualifiers finish by the end of this month. So we'll know officially everybody that will be playing at the World Cup.
How exciting. And the kids drop.
Listen, the way.
Again.
I will have the largest collection of Darwin Nunez kits in the state of Washington.
You heard it here first.
I would argue maybe even like West Coast, maybe even
maybe
United States.
But the Uruguay kits are beautiful. The home kit is like so classic Uruguay, but the away kit, the minute I saw it, I was like, it looks like Black Panther. And then I watched another clip and the guy was like, it's giving Black Panther. They are, which
They're beautiful.
is what Darwin's nickname is on the Uruguayan team. The Panther.
Really?
Black Panther?
Panther.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't think that's why
cool.
it is that, but
Yeah.
in my heart,
Oh, it is.
It can be.
It's why. The person who designed
The
him is
designer-
a closet Darwin fan.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
so
Marvel.
excited. There's also some beautiful Adidas, the Chili's kit. I don't know if y'all are Chile.
Ooh.
Sorry, I'm just American.
You're really in the
I have
know.
an accent. It's Annika, you have to look at it. It's
Okay, I'm looking at it.
stunning. It's stunning. Yeah, you'll love it.
Oh,
It's like flowers. It's purple.
this is what I'm talking about.
It's stunning.
Hello.
Yeah, there are some really great kits for this upcoming.
Oh, I
France's
love.
kit is like a spin on the Statue of Liberty. Take that how you will. So
Okay, how do you feel about the USMNTs?
I'm sorry. Where's Waldo is not for me.
It looks really good on Big Meeks. It looks really,
I didn't
really
see-
good
I
on
didn't
Big
see
Meeks.
Meeks wearing
They
it.
debuted it on CBS and he put it on,
Oh.
and I was like, it looks really good on you, but I'm not liking it.
It looks better on the players or on people than it does look on the
Okay.
hair.
I've
So
not seen it on anybody. I've just seen
I'll give it that.
still images. So anyway, so we got some great kits. I will say I'm excited to see Netherlands away kit because the home kit, it wasn't giving.
Uh-oh.
It's just
Theirs
like
usually
white. It has an
isn't.
orange stripe. I think I just wanted like color drenched orange. Like I'm like, if you're gonna have the color orange, just like own having the color orange. But I was like, it's meant to look good on Virgil van Dijk and not me. So,
There you go.
and we are very different humans.
What?
So- I don't know if you saw me do the leg press.
Like,
Maybe
ex-
you think we're
mhm.
the same person, but
Liliana's quads, Virgil van Dijk's quads. I don't think you could spot the difference.
oh man. Anyway, okay. So
Hmm.
all that to say, if you haven't checked out the World Cup kit drops, they look great. I am very excited about the World Kit. I mean, the World Kit. The World Cup. I feel like the last couple weeks I've been feeling like more just hesitant about it with
Mhm.
the the world. But I'll see all the drops this week and stuff. I was like, no, this is fun. It's like for me, it's like my OG what got me into soccer and football. And so I'm just really excited.
Yeah,
that
I am
it's
very excited.
happening.
It'll be fun. I feel like I've finally released my hopes that I would go to a game. And so
That's
with
fair.
that,
I know. I was okay because Steph. I was like, well, Steph is gonna be not gonna be here for most of the World Cup. I was like, can I move Steph's TV into my living room and set up an ultimate World Cup?
yeah.
Anyway, side conversation. But I was like, how do I turn this room into the World
You
Cup
need pub-
viewing
it's Pub
experience
Living
of
Room
my
2.0.
dreams? I know.
It's just
Yeah.
So anyway, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But
to
I
fill
am
everyone in,
expecting-
Annika's dad loves the NFL, and there are 3 TVs on the wall in their living room. And so when we watch NFL, there's constant. Every single TV has something on it. One of them usually has 4 games on it at all times. So
Red zone. Yeah.
hashtag red zone.
yeah.
No, I'm expecting the summer to be every morning. I just am picturing Mulligan outside my bedroom with a bugle horn. Wake up! These are the games schedule.
No, today
That's
I
what we're
already
watching
this
today.
morning I started pulling it out and I was like, okay, I got us, and I was like, we got time. Let's get through Liverpool seasons first. We don't need to start
We-
planning this quite yet. Yeah, at least it won't be so early. I was up at 3:45 in the morning to watch matches, so yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
And I'm excited to be in
It'll
the
be
UK all
fun.
summer.
yeah.
Mhm.
But at the same time, again, I'm in a different time zone, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Time.
be working.
Because
so I
like some of the
can't stay
games
up
are
in the middle
late
of the
here.
nights.
Like we have
Mhm.
games
Yeah.
that start at like 7 p.m. Pacific time. I
And in
was
the
looking
UK,
at.
that's 8 hours ahead of us, so that's 3
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning for me.
Any other thoughts, feelings about international break and or Liverpool pre-post international break?
We're hitting the ground running when we come back, the FA Cup quarterfinal. So,
Milos's
You know.
post his caption from this game was really great. He was just like, "We're gonna come back stronger than ever." He was like so hopeful.
Yeah.
Like,
I love
so
that.
hopeful.
Because I do think their own attitudes about it carry so much weight. Like, we have
Yeah.
all the ingredients to make this happen. And so, yeah, if they're coming in clear-minded, excited, confident, that's great. Okay, well, until then, let's talk about our players of the week. Do you want to start us off, Stephanie?
Sure. My player of the week is Ryan Gravenberch. We got to see glimpses of the classic midfield Ryan Gravenberch. He has not been as consistent this season as he was last season, but we've really got to see him shine during the gala game on Wednesday. His goal, like the way that that was set up, I just keep watching it on repeat. The way that he set that up and moved that play all the way down the field and ended up scoring was absolutely beautiful. And he just really impressed me on Wednesday. So he is my player of the week.
Love it. Lillian?
My player of the week is my boy, Milos Kerkez. I love him. I say it anytime I get to call him as my player of the week. Incredible goal. It didn't hurt that it was giving glimpses of Darwin Nunez to me, whom I also love.
Yeah.
I love the way that he shows up on the pitch. He works so hard, but I think the past couple of weeks we've also really seen him become a voice off the pitch in like the media sphere, and I just think that takes a lot of like courage and bravery to be so new and to step out to talk about his performance, the team's performance, especially when we've not been playing so well. And so, I think you can just see like he's young, but in a lot of ways, like he's going to grow into being like a really strong leader for this team. So I just love him. I'm so proud of him. And in this last post-match interview, they kind of, I think felt like trying to bait him to be like, well, we couldn't play well because, we played an early match on Saturday and we played a late match. And so they were kind of asking him about that. And he was like, that's not an excuse. Like, I don't want to, just like in a really polite way. He's like, that's not a factor. We show up and we have to play our best game. And so I think he shows up really well on the pitch. He has a great mentality. I'm so thankful that we signed him for this season. So
I mean, he has chosen to align himself with the leaders of this team. He spends so much time with Sobo, so much time with Mo. And so you are who you surround yourself with. And all I see from him
is a good point.
Is him on the pitch and hanging out with Dom or Mo. Like, he's so locked in, and you could just see how his maturity has improved and his confidence has been improved since the very first match. So he's absolutely incredible. Just he feels so much more centered now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. Love it. All right, my player of the week is going to be Hugo Ekitike.
Also your boo.
First, because I'm also my boo. First, because I'm wishing him, well, I guess a speedy recovery. It sounds like he's already recovered. So excited to see you play after a national break, I guess. But also just his goal on Wednesday felt like, obviously it got us to the 2-1 spot. So it was the moment where you were like, okay, if we just hold on from here. And then, of course, Ryan and Mo came in and just made it all the sweeter. But that moment felt really big. And every time Hugo gets a moment to do his magic, I'm here for it. I'm thrilled. I'm sad I didn't get to see him more on Brighton. I know he was probably super disappointed too, especially considering it was actually not that bad of an injury. That's always a hard decision, but appreciate him listening to his body and not pushing himself to an insane injury because we cannot handle that. So, gotta shout out my boo.
I also want to make it very clear to everyone listening that even if we don't mention Dominic Soboslai, he's a constant player of the week every week.
Yeah.
He's the player of the season. So I just want to make that very clear.
That, and also it did take everything in me to not talk about Curtis Jones, but I didn't. I held it in.
It's okay. He's always right here.
I know this moment
represented.
Curtis Jones. Yep.
Well, that's all for this week's episode. Are we coming back next week?
I think if we come back, it'll be a surprise.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
You'll find out. But I feel like probably not because I don't know what we're going to talk about.
If you want to hear me talk about the Muppets in Liverpool,
well, we'll be back here eventually, but until then, you'll never walk alone.